Hello everyone, Ellen Woodbridge here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia. Thank you so much for being a part of my Layers of Beauty class. This is card number 2 that I wanted to play using the Layers of Beauty stamp set. So for this card, I am using watercoloring, using the water painters and the main stamp in the set. We are also, again, the same as the first card, using the Simply Said stamp set for our hello greeting. And as part of the bundle, we are also going to be using the dies. So we're going to be cutting out the image using this largest die. And for the background texture, I'm using the Distressed Tile 3D embossing folder. So we will use that a little later. Now, I wanted to talk to you about our watercoloring before we do it. So what I have used, I've just used a palette here that comes with your purchase of the glass mat. So I've just used these here, and what I have used is our re-inkers. So the colors we are using: Lemon Lolly, Soft Sea Foam, Pool Party, Fresh Freezer, and Bubble Bath. I think that's it. Oh, is it Balmy Blue? No, it is Pool Party. I just wanted to check. So I've just put a dot in here, and we will be adding water. I haven't touched this for over 24 hours, so these have dried, but I can very easily reactivate them just with some water. So I will definitely show you that later. Now, water is essential for our watercoloring. This was my first prototype. This color I ended up not using. This is Petal Pink, but I didn't add enough water to the re-inkers, and this image is very, very heavy, and I really and truly wasn't happy with it. I'm there going, oh no, what am I going to do? And I went, it's okay, start again. I knew what I did. I hadn't used enough water to dilute the colors to where I wanted it. So these are slightly different. The yellow in this one is definitely darker than the Lemon Lolly in the first one. So we will see where we come out today when we are watercoloring together. So let's get to it. I'm just going to pop the dies to the side. Now, the watercolor paper we will be using is our Fluid 100 watercolor paper. Now, I did want to show you how white this watercolor paper is. Watercolor paper is inherently quite creamy, and as you can see against our basic white cardstock, it is actually quite white. Now, we do have a less textured side and a more textured side. There is very, very little difference, unlike other watercolor papers that do have a lot of texture to them and are inherently difficult to stamp on. Now, because we're using watercolor paper, watercolor in general, I'm going to be using my Stays On ink. So I have, close this ink pad, might be helpful. I have already got this set up in my stamp positioning tool. Okay, so I do have a scrap of paper here that, I'll just push this over a little bit. I just want to stamp my scrap first. Now, you're all probably going here, oh my God, Ellen, your stamp is so black. Yeah, it is. Stays On stains. That is fine for me. But I do not recommend using Stays On cleaner with our clear photopolymer stamps. It will eat your stamp and render, over time, your stamps unusable. Okay, so I just want to do a test stamp here. The first stamp of any stamp is never normally the best, although that one turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with that, but it has left residual ink on the stamp, and this is what I want to now take advantage of with our second stamping. Okay, I'm just being extra generous everywhere with our stays on ink, making sure that is in the corner, going down, just putting pressure on, praying to the stamping gods as we do, and hoping that this stamped as I would like. Wow, I'm actually really happy with that. That is the power of a stamp to start with, because the last one I did not end up as beautiful as that. Okay, now while that has a little bit of a dry off, it actually won't take long at all. I am going to get ready to pop things everywhere, apparently, and I am going to get our palette ready. So in my craft room, I always have a spray bottle. It is full of demineralized, non-ionized water. It's water with no minerals in it. Okay, so I have a pool of water on this side, and as always when I watercolor, I want some paper towels at my hand, because they are going to be incredibly useful. I'm going to take the stamp set out of the way. So our water painters, we have 3 of them. I'm only going to be using probably 1 or 2 today, but we have this super duper thick one, which is great for watercolor washes. Let's see if I can get this back in, which I did. And then from there, so we have our super wide, and then we have our fine and our medium. Now, me personally, so that is our fine, and this is our medium. So I'm going to keep those both out today. This barrel does have water in it. I find it very hard with the disability I have in my hands to squeeze the barrel to get water coming out. So I prefer just to have a puddle of water like we do here, and to be able to do our colouring this way. So I'm just going to take water onto the brush. I am going to kind of have my card just down here as a reference. So I'm just going to pop some water and reactivate this fresh freezer. So fresh freezer is this one here. So I am not being particular at all. I am just doing a soft wash. So this is super easy watercoloring. Now, let's see if I can finish this whole image with that little bit of water I have put on. I am not going back to add any shading. This is staying as is. Okay, I'm just going to wash this off. Okay, I'm now going to go onto my yellow, because if I go onto my bubble bath one, we may get some colour sucking into each other. So just going to go to a lemon lolly one. Going to add a whole lot of water here, because I want this one that's beautiful. Just a nice soft wash. Okay, Oh, very, very happy with that. So just going to wipe this off. Now, if I get too much colour in my water, I can sop it up and start again with my water. I have no issues with that. So because I've done these two flowers, I'm now going to go in with our pool party. So we are still using our fine tip. So I'm going to have to do a fair bit of rehydrating here because we do have a number of these flowers. So I'm trying not to get the flower centers because I do want those to be lemon lolly. So I'm literally just dabbing these. So these may take a little while to dry because I'm definitely dabbing here. I've got a couple of buds here and here, so I'm going to have to decide what colors I want those, but I can go back and add in those colors. So you can be as particular as you would like with your coloring. I just like the simplicity of just doing this wash. Okay, so I am now going to change this border because even though I'm actually going to go into my pink. Okay, so I literally just sop that up and grab my water again and just create a puddle. Okay, so we're going to go into our bubble bath now. So just make sure I am clean, which I am. I do have lots of ink in the corners here, so I know I can definitely go in. Now I have a hair or something here. I'm just going to try and pick that up. I don't want that in my finished image. Oh, it's not wanting to come up. That's okay. That can just stay as is and we shall keep going. Because I don't want to scrub around too much. Now, I'm thinking just need to add a little bit more water. Ah, perfect. Perfect. Very, very happy with that. That's quite light. Okay, give this a bit of a clean here on the edge. Now, I just need, I possibly want to make these pink and maybe these ones fresh freesia. So bubble bath and fresh freesia. Now that was fine not to clean my brush because we were going into very, very light colours. So going in with my lemon lolly, and I'm just going to drop flower centres in here. It's quite a warm day today, so these are drying nice and quickly. So I maybe want something with a little bit more because I had some blue over that. So we've got our buds. We've got our flowers. I think I am now ready to go in with our soft sea foam. Okay. So if I need another part of a drop, I can certainly go in and do that, but let's just see how we go. Because I'm liking the softness of this. Just want to get these dots here. I'm not worried about the lines of these leaves because we do have all of our die cutting to do. So that will stop some of our going out of the lines. Okay, just going around, trying to be methodical. Okay, I'm going to turn it just so I don't get my hand in the watercolour, because I know I would make a really, really good job of that. So, oh, I missed one here. So I can go in there. No, I don't think I quite need any more. I can just a titch of water here. Just rehydrate this. Just try and get just a little bit more colour here. But it's pretty much staying the same colour as when we started. So we're doing okay. And just these little ones here. And then we've just got these ones. So unfortunately, we are not going to cut this image, because I never advise cutting damp watercolour paper. You want to wait until this is totally dry to cut it, otherwise you don't get nice clean edges and it won't cut through properly. So I'm just sopping up that water because we are done watercolouring. So that was actually pretty quick in the whole scheme of things. I will just spray these wells with water and just clean them out, and then that will be ready. So let's have a closer look at this. Let's see if I can... That hair is now gone. So that just dried and went. So that is my finished colouring now. But here is one I prepared earlier. Not quite as soft, but that is okay. Okay, not quite as soft, a little bit different. As I say, you get a different result every time. So we are going to use that. I'm going to put my hands on the dies. I found them under everything, of course. So I'm going to pull out that die, pop this card off to the side, just please excuse me, a dry throat. So just recap these water painters. Bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So whilst we've got it on our desk and all open, I'm going to cut our image and I'm going to emboss our basic beige paper. So I have plate 1, I have plate 2, which is our thin plate dies. I have a cutting plate 3. I'm going to pop this in and line it up. I'm actually pretty happy with that. So I'm going to pop this in and down. Is it perfect? No. Am I happy enough? Yes, but my cutting bit is on the wrong side. Okay, that is jammed in there. So I'm going to spin around and crank it through towards me. Okay, there we go. So this one was completely dry. It was coloured, I think, yesterday. So it has got none of that wetness. So that is our piece. Not cut perfectly, but pretty close. So we've got that piece. Now, I'm going to pop that die there for the second. I need to change out some of these plates. So we need to take plate 2 and the 2 plate 3s away. Because we're using a 3D embossing folder, I am going to need plate 4. Now, I have a piece of basic beige cardstock. I thought that was the perfect background for our die and our watercolouring. So then it didn't matter what colour we happened to choose. The basic beige would go with everything. So just pop that in the embossing folder. What I recommend is going spine first. Okay, I have seen people split embossing folders by putting the opening end in first. Okay, so pop this in here. So this plate 4 just goes on the top and you crank through. I'm just going to pop that there. Pop all these plates to the side. Move our machine. So I have a perfectly distressed piece of cardstock, which will be the perfect base for our flowers. Now, before I go any further, I would be perfect time to stamp our sentiment. So I just have a piece of, just a scrap of basic white cardstock. I have my hello stamp from the Simply Said set. So this set here, I have that pre-mounted onto one of our clear blocks, and we're going to stamp in Pool Party. Okay, so that way it matches our pool party flowers. Okay, so open this up. I think I'm going to do a test stamp first, because let's follow what we know works really well. Let's take 2 on that one. Yes, lovely. Love it. I'm very happy. Okay, so I kind of want to stamp up onto this edge. And voila, just like that. Just like a bought one. Okay, and we're going to close the ink pad so we have no inky disasters. And I am also going to give this just a little snip on an angle. Okay, I like doing that on an angle, and I am thinking this, I'm thinking this edge is not perfect, but we can fix that up. So I'm just going to pop that to the side and bring in my basic white card base. So the construction of this card from here on in is actually fairly easy. So it's just layering, dimension. I've got a bit of a bodgy edge there on the back of my card, but we're going to put that to the back. All we have to do is bend this the opposite way, and hopefully that will be fine. Okay, just a little bit more burnishing here, and hopefully this will hold closed a little bit easier. I do not want to adhere this yet, because I've got my little hello that I have to fix. So let's take our flowers. You can see I had some bodgy stamping on the back, and even our watercolour paper has 2 sides. So we are going to add quite a few dimensionals. So this will give our piece some stability, because there are edges of it that are quite delicate, and I would prefer to use a whole lot of these rather than not enough, because lately I have been a little stingy with the dimensionals, and I have regretted it later and had to go in and add extra support and dimension to the pieces. Okay, so one in here, one in there. Oops. One down here. I think I want to add, oops, doesn't want to come out. One in here, and then maybe just one or two up over here. I think that is enough. Possibly, I'm just going to leave that, and if I do need to add anything, I will. Okay, now I'm going to take your pick tool and take all of these off methodically. Okay, so just working across the back of the image here, and see how many of these we can actually pick up. Oh my word, I picked up all of them. How does that work? I have no idea. But anyway, we picked up all of them. That's all that matters. And bringing in our reference, I do want the yellow at the top. I just think that looks up, like in the correct direction, because I know it is kind of designed to go like that, but I want to show you that you can also use it in a portrait style. Now we do want to make sure we are going fairly close to the top, because we do want to add our little hello piece right here. Now I am going to do that now, and then I'm going to snip off the not so straight edge. Okay, just two little dots there, and then adhere it to the card base, and then embellish. So I've purposely left this a little bit over. Okay, so then I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to use my paper snips to snip the edge. So this has allowed me not to grab down my trimmer for this teeny tiny slither. I was able to just fix it like so. Okay, so now I'm going to add ample amounts of glue to our card base. Because we've used a 3D embossing folder, you don't want to scrounge on our glue. Now, could I have used our Stampin' seal? Yeah, I could have. But my fingers are going to work really well. I definitely want all the sides down. And if it needs it, so I do have a little lifty bit here, so I can go in with a squirt of glue. Just a little bit there. So unfortunately I did use a little too much, but only you guys are seeing that. So I just popped the excess on the back of my hand so nothing else gets gluey. Okay, now if you were my gems, where would you be living? I had everything so beautifully out, and now they have gone MIA. I did have our iridescent, here they go, our iridescent faceted gems. So I love them so much that there actually aren't many left on this sheet. So let's grab our take your pick tool, and these are going to pick up our stunning multicolours perfectly. Okay. And we're going to be generous with them. I'm going to use 5. So just one up here and then another 2. So it just leads your eye all the way across the card, and I think that finishes off the card perfectly. Now let me find our other card as well. This one I haven't embellished yet, so you can see here I was very light with our original card, little bit heavy-handed on the second too, and the one we have done together today I've probably gone most like this. So just lovely, very happy. If you're using very light watercoloring, you can even do it on our basic white designer series paper. So just to go over what we have used, I have used the Layers of Beauty dies, the Simply Said stamp set for our sentiment, the Layers of Beauty set for our main image. Let me just pop these out of the way. I have used our re-inkers for our colours. So we used Pool Party, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lolly, Soft Sea Foam and Bubble Bath. So all 5 beautiful colours. And I have used our set of water painters, as well as the 3D embossed embossing folder in our standard size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and our iridescent gems. So that's a closer look at our iridescent gems. They are just enchanting and work on pretty much any of my projects. So thank you so much for hanging with me for card 2 of my Layers of Beauty class. If you have any questions, please ask below. If this is the first card you've watched, please make sure you watch my other videos as well. And there will be a bonus 1 or 2 videos as well, not just my 3 exclusive cards. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.